Atmanam Atma Bandhu. So by Atman you have to get rid of Atman. Atman is your friend, Atman is your foe. Means here Atman means not the real Atman, the mind. The mind is your friend, the mind is your foe. So in this, Sri Ramakrishna also said, we are bound in our mind, we are free in our mind. So everything is in our mind. Now, the analysis of mind is very important here. Here it is said that chitta. So analysis of mind is very important. How we can analyze our mind, how we can understand that we are not the body, but the Atman. What is the secret? How can we do that? It is simple, we shall think, yes, one process is, the secret is that our mind is very deceptive. What we teach our mind will accept that. In any way, it will accept that. So if we always teach our mind that we are not the body, we are Atman. So if we constantly teach our mind this kind of thing, slowly, we shall actually get rid of the attachment of our body, etc. This is one of the processes. Then what are the other processes we can have? By discrimination. By discrimination we come to know that we are not the body. One very important point in Vedantic meditation is there. It is extremely important because everything is meditation. If we think very carefully, if we contemplate, if we concentrate on particular teachings, that is nothing but meditation. Reflection is nothing but kind of meditation. So if we think very carefully on this, let me explain what the Vedanta is telling regarding the meditation. Meditation, what we do actually, we are concentrating on one of our object of meditation, which is called chosen deity. It may be anything else. We are concentrating on our chosen deity. Now, Vedanta very subtly, very clearly, Vedanta distinguishes the knowledge and the work. So what we are seeking for in meditation, what we are seeking for, what is our goal? Knowledge. So we want knowledge. Out of meditation we get knowledge. But because of gaining knowledge, what we are doing, we are going through some meditation process, some thinking process. So that is karma. So karma is not the knowledge. We want knowledge. But karma is completely different from knowledge. Makes sense? The process of meditation is the work, is karma. But we want knowledge. Karma cannot give us knowledge. So how can we get the knowledge? That is the question.
Prayer.
Eh?
Through prayer.
Well, yes, that is one of the processes, definitely. But there are other processes also. So prayer is depending it is dependence. Prayer is not independent. By simply doing prayer, you cannot get the knowledge. Why? Why?
You will get bhakti.
Prayer is not independent thing. Prayer is dependent on God's grace. So it is not your own thing. But knowledge is independent. Knowledge doesn't depend on anything else.
Not even grace, Swamiji?
Yeah, pardon?
Not even grace?
Yes, definitely. Grace is a completely different dimension. So when there is a grace, that is not your effort. That is God's wish. Grace comes from completely different. That is a completely different platform itself. I am talking about your effort. When you are giving effort, you cannot get any grace or bliss or something from outside. You are not getting help from the outside. In very clear way, I am not talking about bhakti. I am talking about jnana.
But jnana will also come from bhakti.
Well, yes.
Thakur has said that.
I do not, everybody said that. I do not disagree your opinion, but ultimately we have to go to jnana. Not necessarily, but some acharyas, they have this opinion that through bhakti you will become purified, you will become eligible to get the jnana. So jnana is higher than bhakti, according to, ultimately this is coming. This is according to the acharyas of jnana path. They do not discard bhakti, but they said bhakti is the preliminary path, preparatory practice by which you can get the jnana. Yes.
Observation from first principles and use of the scientific method.
What is that?
Observation with using first principles and the scientific method. Logic and scientific method.
It has no value in the scripture.
Okay.
It has no value in the scripture. This knowledge has no value in the scripture, especially the Indian scripture. What observation? How can you know your observation is correct? How can you know your observation is correct? Most of the time, we have the false observation. For that, how many sample you have to take? And what kind of sample? The statistical people cannot claim that any kind of sample you will take and that will give the right result. All are probabilities. However, so the knowledge and karma. So how can we get the knowledge? We can get the knowledge from the object. Clear perception of the object. If you have the knowledge of a fire, you have to see the fire. Otherwise, you cannot have this knowledge. In your life, you have never seen the fire. You are reading about fire. That will not give you the knowledge. So knowledge always comes from the perception. Not only the perception, and from the object. So object is very important for knowledge. If object is not there, how can your knowledge will come? So according to these Vedantic teachers, the object is very important for knowledge. Now here, what is the object? The object is your object of meditation. That is the object. So in this case, if you take this body and self, then what is going on? Body and self. So what is the object of your meditation then? You are thinking in your mind that body is not the self. So these are completely different. That is the object of, if you think that is the object of your meditation. So from knowledge, how the knowledge will come? The knowledge will come from the Atman. So the Atman's knowledge will come, but you don't have seen the Atman. Yeah, the difficulties is this, that Atman cannot be the object. So when they say the object is, the knowledge is coming from the object, very clearly. In Panchadasi it has been very clearly defined. Shankaracharya in Brahma Sutra is very clearly defined that it is coming from the object. But your Atman cannot be the object. So how this knowledge will come? And knowledge means there must be vritti. Knowledge means there must be vritti. Without vritti, knowledge cannot come.
But Maharaj, that's a different knowledge, right? Knowing Atman knowledge is not the same as other knowledge, right? So,
Not objective knowledge.
Right.
But that is also a knowledge. That is also knowledge.
It's a khandaka.
And when that is knowledge, then there must be a vritti. That it is this kind, a special kind of vritti, which is called the akhandakara vritti or the brahmokara vritti. That is the name of the vritti. Murtiji, you are saying something?
No, sorry. That's what I was.
So this is called akhandakara vritti or the brahmokara. So vritti must be there, and you do not have this kind of sense. What is the Atman? So what is the way? How can we understand? How can we meditate with? So meditate on the Ishta means you have to identify your Ishta with the self then. Because otherwise, how can you connect with that? Right. So this kind of meditation, that is the concept of antarjami. So yourself is first antarjami. Somebody is operating within yourself. And then that somebody will become your heart. But this knowledge, so association of your mind with the knowledge, with the object, that will give you the knowledge. And what will happen, how this Brahmakara vritti is developed? When your mind, the vritti is, what is vritti? Vritti is the modification of mind. So, your mind will completely identified and become one with the object. Then only the vritti of object will develop. So this identification is very important. So in our ordinary meditation also, we must have this kind of identification with our chosen deity. Otherwise, we cannot imbibe that vritti of our chosen deity, we cannot have. So, in this way, actually, we have to identify our vritti with the object, and then we can get the things. So try to understand this. This is a little bit, this is the upasana, this is the Vedantic kind of meditation. So they always try to give emphasis, not the process. Whereas in other meditation, they try to give the emphasis in the process. So what will happen? They do not distinguish the karma and the knowledge. There is not that kind of knowledge actually. So the other type of meditation, means the Patanjalika type of meditation, is a kind of vritti shunya nirodha. Chitta vritti nirodha. So nirodha means completely devoid of your vritti. But here there is no nirodha. Vritti is there. Ahandakara vritti. Brahmakara vritti. Yes.
To get identified with your object of devotion, do we need a grace, or it is just process that we need to follow?
There is no question of grace.
Okay.
It is completely the meditation process of jnana. Because we are studying the jnana. There is no question of grace. There is no question of duality. So who is your Atman? Atman is not who. You are your Atman.
But the object or chosen deity is.
I am not talking about chosen deity. I am talking about, yes, if you have chosen deity, definitely you are chosen deity. But the object, that chosen deity is none but yourself. Antarjami. This concept is called Antarjami. Antarjami is the inner controller. And you are become two identifications are going on. First, your ego will identify with your chosen deity, and the chosen deity is identified with yourself. Because if you now try to meditate on your chosen deity, it looks like your chosen deity is separate from yourself.
No, but after meditation, Maharaj, the chosen deity will become one with you. That is the path that Thakur has talked about, bhakti.
Yes, it is true.
And
What
for
you are
normal
saying-
people, I guess that's the.
But we are now studying little bit abnormal. So it is not abnormal, I would say it is above normal. So little bit very specialized thing we are studying now.
Vedanta, basically.
Yes, and it is
Non-duality.
out and out scripture, So we must not go here and there. We are very focused in the scripture. And when we study scripture, we must follow what acharyas are saying. If you study science, you must not go here and there. we must refer, if we have to refer, we must refer, if we study physics, some physicist, that yes, which is proved, which is experiment proved, we have to refer that one. That yes, according to Einstein, this is this, so this is this. So here also, just like the same thing, when we study this, we have to refer some scholars from Advaita. I don't say Thakur is not Advaita, Thakur is 100% Advaita. Mother, Holy Mother exclusively mentioned that Thakur is Advaita. But we must not mix with other things, then we cannot make it out. So when we study this thing, we have to go strictly follow these things. We must not go here and there. This is the problem most of us we have, because we have lot of information in our mind. So what we do actually, we refer from here and there. So now we are studying the path of jnana, of the scripture. So it is completely different from jnana. And we have to think that what these Advaita teachers, they said about the bhakti. They do not discard bhakti, but bhakti is for them, bhakti is the inferior kind of practice. Knowledge is way higher kind of. You may accept it, you may not accept it. That's a different issue. It is not hard and fast rule that you have to accept it. But this is the version Shankaracharya says. This is the version Gaudapada says. This is the jnana teacher. They taught us this. So when we follow them, we have to stick on that particular thing. That is my point. Yes.
When we get identified with the object, when we develop those vrittis, right? The bad vrittis, they will, as in, dissolve, or they will get, as in, the mind will get purified.
You do not have this bad vritti, good vritti, because now you have well advanced. Long ago, you did the sama, dhamma, etc. So now you are advanced. Now if you go back to the beginning, the first or second verse is the sama, dhamma, etc., etc. So now all those you have crossed. So now there is no bad vritti. You are the efficient student right now. That is why Guru is telling the higher kind of thing. Now you have asked few questions, very pertinent questions, and Guru is replying. So all your carving in your mind, all your impurities has gone. And don't bring that concept of samaskaras and all this. Here is no that kind of thing. There is no psychology. All those are Patanjali Yoga Sutra. So don't mix with Advaita Vedanta and Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Very clearly distinguish those things. Because they are completely different. I have already mentioned one thing. In Patanjali Yoga Sutra is Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. There is no any vritti. Here is Akhandakara vritti must be there, otherwise you do not have any knowledge. So these two things are completely different.
So if you meditate on the Ishta as the Antaryami, then what is the nature of the knowledge you get, Maharaj? Is that Adhyana or Atma Dhyana?
Yes, definitely. If you stuck there only, then you have vidarshana. Say, as for example, my chosen deity is Mother Kali. It is very subtle thing. My chosen deity is Mother Kali. Your chosen deity is Lord Shiva. Okay? So, our realization, my realization is Kali. Your realization is Shiva. So then why we always say that all realization are one and same?
It's still one.
What? Your realization is Shiva, my realization Kali. How it will become say one? So Brahman means you have to go that concept then you have to go another step higher. Yes, that is what I am saying. So if you start there, then different. So you have to go another step that you are Atman.
Those are related to Thakur.
Right.
So the Atma Jnana is what you will get.
Right, then only. When you will identify what do we have to do actually. Okay. So this is the process. And obviously there must be the faith. Because if you don't have the faith, it means Shraddha, one pointed. If you don't have that, then it is also very difficult to go through that. So, because you have to accept that, no? This theory you have to accept. That is the point. Now, next. कर्मेन्द्रियों पंचभी रंचितोऽयं प्राणो भवेत् प्राणोमयस्तु कोशः येनात्मो पंचभी कर्मेन्द्रियों. We know that it is very simple. पंचभी कर्मेन्द्रियों अंचितो ओयम अयम प्राणः. So again it is said the Pancha Karmendriya and with that the association of prana. So Anchita means connected. So prana is connected. So Karmendriyoi Panchabhi. This should be read in this way. Karmendriyoi Panchabhi, then Anchita. So raw, when you can find ra at the end of these things, that means it is Visharga. So when Sandhi will come, it becomes ra. So Karmendriyoi Panchabhi, Anchito Ayam Prana. Anchita means connected with prana. Then pranamayastu bhavet pranamayastu koshaha. So then pranamaya kosha is built. So how pranamaya kosha has been developed? Here it is clearly given. 5 senses when connected with prana, it becomes pranamaya kosha. And there are 5 pranas, you know. 5 pranas. Huh? 5 pranas? 5 pranas?
Yes.
I am asking Amit Pala.
Yes.
Amit Pala is not very sure. Are you sure?
No.
No, I could understand that. Gora, you?
Myself?
No.
Sure.
Saurabh?
No, I'm not sure.
Not sure? Yogshupal, five pranas.
Yeah. Nisyas.
Samana. Prana, Dhyana, Udana, Samana. Yes. Those are prana and they have very specific functions in our body. Some is taking out, some is going down. All these have functions. Okay. So the pranamaya kosha with pancha karmendriya. What are the karmendriyas? Yes.
Karmendriya or hasta, pada.
Yes. Hasta, pada, payu, upastha. Those are the karmendriyas. The chakshu karna, those are the jnanendriya. So, this pancha karmendriya and prana, this becomes pranamaya kosha. Yenatvo va no annamayo o purnaha. Yeno anupurnaha, it is said. So anupurnaha. Anupurna means it is full from inside. Atmabana. Asau annamaya. Annamaya koshaha. So what happened? So pranamaya kosha we have understood. So pranamaya kosha from inside, when it is connected with the consciousness from inside, it is called annamaya kosha, which involved in different work. So this how this annamaya and pranamaya kosha is developed. That is what it is said. The prana with which we are all familiar, coupled with 5 organs of action, forms the vital seeds permeated by which the material seeds engages itself in all activities as if it were living. So the material seeds described in the sloka 154. So what is described in 154? Annamaya kosha. What is described in 154? Please read out. The body of ours is the product of food and comprises the material seeds. It lives on food and dies without food. It is a mass of skin, flesh, blood, bones, and lots of other filthy things, and can never be entirely pure, self-existent Atman. So, that is what it is said. The material seeds. For a description of the 5 koshas, another is the Turiya Upanishad, we know the 5 koshas. So what happens, how these Annamaya kosha and Pranamaya kosha are developed? We can understand how Pranamaya kosha is developed, and then permeated. Permeated means this activity again is a borrowed one, as will appear from the last line of the next shloka. So this permeated means by which the material seed engages itself. So Swayam Manya Krinchana Nityam Parantra. That is the last line of the next. So how it is pervaded in the next verse, it is said that Noivo Atmapi Pranamaya Vayu Vikaro Ganta Ganta Vayu Badantar Vahiresha Yasmat Kinchit Kapi Na Vettishtam Anishtam Swam Manya Ba Kinchana Nityam Parantra. So Esha Pranamaya Opi, this Pranamaya Kosha, Vayu Vikara, or Panchikrita Vayu, Atmana Eva, that is not Jivatman, and this Vayu, Antah Bahir, inside and outside, go and come, and never. It does good or bad, it do not disturb to anybody, and always under control of others. So that is what it is said. Neither is the vital seed, the self, because it is modification of Vayu, is here. Vayu is explained here, the prana Vayu or life force is meant here. The word commonly means air, which brings in the comparison in the next line. So it enters actually into the, comes and go from the body, and because it never knows the least either its own will and woe or those of others, being entirely dependent on the self. So this is actually this Pranamaya Kosha and the Annamaya Kosha, but here in the previous verse, by which the material seeds engages itself in all activities as if it were living. So the Annamaya Kosha is actually activated by Pranamaya Kosha. That is the point. It works in its own way, but it looks like that it is independent, but it is completely dependent from others. That is what it is said. Let me read from another note. This one is verse number 165. Karmendriyai Pancha. Yes. So it is said, this prana in combination with 5 organs of action constitutes the pranamaya kosha. Permeated by it, the annamaya kosha gets its life by the prana entering into it and engages in all kinds of action. So Karmendriya Panchavihi. By the 5 Karmendriya organs of action as called speech, hand, feet, the excretory organs and the genitals, which are responsible respectively for speaking, talking, moving about, etc. These are born of the Rajaguna of 5 elements, beginning with Akasha. So these are coming, please remember that flow chart. In the flow chart, these are coming from the Akasha and by the influence of Rajaguna. So this is happening. These karmendriyas are coming from Akasha and Rajaguna. Then Anchita means made of. The effect of the combination of 5 elements in their rajas aspect is prana or breath. It is the wind, vayu, which moves about inside the body. The pranayama akasha is named after it. Then kosha is the seed covering the Atman with the arches of hunger and thirst. It is the obstacle for the awareness of the Atman, which is ever free from hunger and thirst. It makes the man feel, I am thirsty, I am hungry. That is, instead of realizing the thirst and hunger are prana dharma, he attributes them to I, the Atman. Here the Guru refers to the meaning of Shruti. In Tattariya Upanishad, he is quoting from Tattariya Upanishad, the Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya and Anandamaya kosha from a successive series. Whatever happens in the Annamaya kosha is wrongly identified as belong to the Atman by reason of its being pervaded by the Pranamaya kosha. So, too, with each successive kosha, by reason of the kosha next to it pervading it. By the Shruti, again, Tattariya Upanishad, he explained, the Pranamaya kosha is different from the Annamaya kosha, but its Atmas is embedded in it. It is by Pranamaya kosha that the Annamaya kosha becomes Atmaban. If the Pranamaya envelops the body fully, the Atma too is said to envelop it is likewise. So, enveloping the body, the prana, as assumes the form of Purusha, and the Atma too is said to be likewise. So the point is here, actually what they are trying to mean, that the Pranamaya, Annamaya, Pranamaya and Manomaya, these are the lower level koshas. So these 3 koshas actually are connected with each other, and these are not under our control because they are lower kind of koshas and they are not under our control. They do according to their own way. Now the question is, our consciousness is connected with these 3 levels. Our consciousness is always travel in these 3 levels. The most of the people are connected with these 3 levels. We all, actually, not most, all, 99%. We are connected with these 3 levels. So we have to get rid of this and we have to jump into our intellect level, Vijnanamaya kosha. That is the ideal aspect. how can we do that? That is the question. So if we have to get rid of our body, mind, consciousness, we have to get rid of these three koshas. Otherwise, we cannot get rid of the body consciousness. How can we get rid of this thing and attach our consciousness to the Vijnanamaya kosha, intellectual thing? How can we do that? Well, that is the number one. This is the extreme practice. Extreme practice is required, and the scripture says the powerful things is the discrimination. We can discriminate every moment, and we should live on the intellectual level. What is the intellectual level? The same thing. We are not Atman. We are not body, we are Atman. So that is the thing we have to feed always. And obviously, all these practices we have to do. So we have to completely get rid of the outside connections. Our indriyas will not be attracted by any of the worldly things. So that is the point. Then only we can slowly overcome these three annamaya, pranamaya and manomaya koshas. Because that is the most important thing. So annamaya and pranamaya. Pranamaya is definitely pervaded everywhere. Prana is a very powerful. The prana is extremely powerful element in our body. We can, by practice, we can control the annamaya things. There are many people I know, they have controlled this. These people, those who are controlling the food, they can easily control. Those are diabetes, they completely get rid of this the sugar. So those have the blood pressure, they can completely, get rid of the salt, etc., etc. So that can be done. So annamaya kosha is by practice, physical practice, we can do that. The next point is the monomaya. So monomaya is the troubling thing because of the samaskaras. For samaskaras, monomaya is little bit troubling thing. So we have to get rid of this monomaya kosha. So what I would suggest here, see, till now I was telling that we should not mix one philosophy to another. So that is from the philosophical study. But when spiritual study is coming, then I think that we have to take some help from the Patanjali Yoga Sutra to control our samaskaras, etc. So in that case, so if we can get rid of these three things, then we are fine. So that is the most important thing, to get rid of three kind of koshas. That is why he is now explaining these three koshas. He will come to monomaya kosha afterwards, the pranamaya, monomaya and the annamaya kosha. So these we have to get rid of these three koshas. Then we can get rid of the body consciousness. Otherwise it is extremely difficult to get rid of the body consciousness. And once we can get rid of the body consciousness, Swami said, you are done 50%. In one, not 50%, actually in one place he said that if you have get rid of the body consciousness, you can realize Brahman. Because this part is extremely difficult part. Because from birth, we are identified with the body. So that's why Swami Vivekananda said in one place that every mother should be like Madalasa. Every mother should be like Madalasa. hello. Online, do you have any question?
Yes, Master. No question.
Yes, Mark.
Give me just a second.
Yeah,
Put my chair up.
yeah, sure.
All right, Swamiji. Thank you for your talk. Now, there's been a statement, and it's not your statement. You said some of the senior monks or somebody else had said that bhakti yoga is considered inferior to jnana yoga.
No. It is not senior Swamis. It is not. It is the great Shankaracharya. I am referring great Shankaracharya.
Well, I would like to disagree.
Okay, that is good. That is, I am not deferring you. You disagree, that is fine. But they said that.
I understand, but I have my own.
Yeah, everybody has their own, everybody has their own view. I am not contradict your view, and I am not making any comments on your view. I am only just presenting different views, that's all.
So I don't think I need to go anywhere with this then.
Yeah, actually the same thing is the opposite side also. All the bhakti teachers, they said that jnana is inferior to bhakti. Now, it is very difficult to judge these things at this point because they are very they are spiritually, philosophically, they are way higher, higher than us. They, in their knowledge, in their spiritual stability, they are way higher than us. But what we do, yes, that is the beauty of Indian philosophy, that there are different kinds of teachings you will find. You will take what you like best. That is the important point. That is the beauty of Indian philosophy.
Okay. I had another question. I don't
Yes.
know how much time we have.
You can ask this question.
Okay. So this morning, when I knew you were going to give a talk on Christianity, I didn't know that it was the methods of worship in Christianity. I prepared a question that to bring to ask you, but when you gave the lecture, you talked about methods of worship, and I didn't think it was relevant or appropriate to ask at that time. So, in the Sermon on the Mount in Matthew, Jesus says, "Be thee perfect as thy Father in heaven is."
Yes.
And so, when I think about that, I say, we're human beings, and we do make mistakes. And you talked about confession, people going to confession to confess their mistakes. How does Jesus expect us to be perfect, like our Father who is in heaven?
Where is your confusion?
Well, it's like the idea of original sin, or that man makes mistakes, or that man is not perfect.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
Jesus is
I
saying,
got.
You should be perfect.
I got your question. So the point is, yes, the point is the same, the original sin. That is the main point. So all kind of impurities are coming from there. That is the first point. The second point is that through Mass and baptism, you can purify yourselves. And that is how, and then obviously the Mass I have already mentioned. Mass means you are intaking the sacred things, sacrament you are actually intaking. So that is the way of purification. And obviously other things are there. Serve others, Jesus, other teachings are there. So the other Sermon on the Mount, he taught us other different things also. So that is simplicity, serve others, all those things he taught. So like that. By all these things we will become purer. Because according to the Christianity, one group, the especially the Catholics, the original sin is only tainted the soul, but not the spiritual aspect and other aspects of human personality. So that's why through baptism and through Mass, we can overcome this original sin. And actually the main appeasement was done by Jesus Christ, by offering himself.
So what he's saying is strive to be perfect.
Yes, 100%.
I cleared it up. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I think we should conclude here. Next week we do not have Viveka Chudamani. We do not have evening event here next Sunday. Next Sunday is 22nd. And the following Sunday also, 29th, we do not have Viveka Chudamani because 29th we will observe Ram Navami. We shall observe Ram Navami. So 29th will be the Ram Nam Sankirtanam here. And that is our foundation day also. 7 house.
50 years.
Okay, that is the 50 years of San Jose house.
Golden Jubilee of Church.
क्या बोलते हैं 50 years का golden jubilee.
The recording has stopped.
Golden 5 silver, then 3 years gold. We are going to be gold.
Yeah, so let us see what is going to happen, etc., etc. So we must have the Ramnam first, then we can see. And there will be 2 musical events, in Berkeley in April, Carnatic classical music. So it is free, everyone is welcome. Okay, thank you very much. Those who are in online, namaste. O Lord, please accept our offering. us, make us pure and all loving. May we not accuse, demand, or complain, but love, respect, and cooperate with others. May we not find fault with others, but try to find our own faults. May we not treat others as strangers, but learn to make all our own. Peace, peace. Peace be unto you.